National Advisory Board. Governor, I have a lot to get to with you, but I want to start on where we left the conversation with the senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance. He argues that talking about this strain on the local community from migrant populations should not be dismissed as racist by the Harris campaign and should be discussed on its merits. What do you make of the continued push to focus the conversation here?
Well, I mean, there's a remarkable amount of not just inaccuracies, but dog whistling that we heard from that. But, you know, of all the many things that I think were really problematic with what Senator Vance said, when at the end of the interview, when he started talking about just some local elected official and what they have to say, these are people who are closest to the ground. These are the people who are closest to their constituents. These are public servants, and these are partners inside the work. And in the case of that mayor, that's a Republican who's saying that this isn't about politics, and it's not about politicizing this issue. We know that to be able to address these issues, and particularly big, complex issues like the border crisis that our nation continues to confront, we have to do it in partnership. And I think when you're hearing those kind of comments from someone who's aspiring to be the vice president of the United States, I think for all of us as local and statewide elected officials, it just gives a sense about how he views partnership and how he views the intelligence that's coming from us who are on the ground having to deal with these challenges.
The governor of Ohio, a Republican, also again today said the claims being made there were not borne out by fact. Yeah. But he's also asking for federal help with a very real thing, strain from the migrant population. Should the Harris campaign talk about that more? Should the federal government be doing more?
Yeah, well, the federal government absolutely needs to do more, as is Congress. And I think that that's part of the reason why the frustration that we saw when it came to things like the border deal, which was a bipartisan deal that we had both Democrat and Republican support for, that one of the anchors and one of the authors was one of the most conservative people within Congress, Senator Lankford. And the deal was killed because Donald Trump said that this was not going to be advantageous to my campaign. So the challenge is what we're seeing from both Donald Trump and J.D. Vance is we're receiving political talking points, but we're not receiving actually actionable ideas to be able to address the issue.
But I guess on the issue of empathy or understanding, should there be more recognition, not just, oh, we tried and it didn't get through up at the national level, but on the local? Reach out to Governor DeWine and say, I understand you have problems with your hospitals, with your safety, with the languages. Those things are real.
Yes, they are real. And frankly, those conversations have happened. You know, we've had conversations for continuing on for months with the White House, with the administration about what we're seeing on the ground and about the supports that we need. So we know that we actually have an administration that is working in partnership with us. And in the case of Vice President Harris, we have a presidential candidate who actually uses the power of personal connection to be able to connect with us as state and local leaders from what we're seeing in the state of Maryland, what other governors are seeing around the country, and actually coming up with plans together to be able to address this crisis.
I want to ask you about the Harris campaign because you are out campaigning.